All right, I think that worked.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Franklin Planning Board, the September 22nd, 2025 meeting. This meeting is audio and video recorded, as well as on Zoom. And the Zoom call-in number is 312-626-6799, with the meeting number of 845-433-6847. Our first items of business, we'll take care of some general business first. If I could go to a final Form H for 19 Cottage Street. If I could go to Amy with the Department of Planning, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this was 19 Cottage Street. It was approved on May 20th, 2024. It was to increase the parking area to the lot next door. They've completed all the items. I've also heard from Beta today, or late Friday, that everything's been updated and completed. And I'll just note that Matt from Beta is not online, but if there were any questions, I believe Mike could address them.
Okay, good, thank you. This one should be really cut and dry. Anybody from the board have any comments or questions? No? Good. Mike, you all set?
All set, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
good. If the applicant's here, thank you for improving it. Looks good, actually. So we'll make a motion to approve 19 Cottage Street for a final Form H. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The second item of business.
You're welcome.
This would be a decision for Panther Way Senior Village. If I could go to Amy, Department of Planning, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the planning board at the last meeting closed the public hearing. They've got 11 waivers to vote on. It does require a roll call vote. If there were any no's, you would need to please give a reason on why there would be some no's. That's it that I have.
We're going to give a motion for Panther Way Senior Village over.
Make a motion to approve the requested 11 waivers as noted in the September 16th, 2025 Franklin Planning Board, Department of Planning and Community Development memo listing these waivers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I make a recommendation for the following conditions for the Panther Way Senior Village overlay, that a bond be established by the DPW and applicant for any damage to roadway work, specifically working with our town engineer, Mike Maglio, and the applicant to establish that. And also a dollar amount be established by the tree warden for to be donated to the town's tree fund for replacement of trees that were removed that were over a certain caliber already designated by the board.
Everybody comfortable with that?
So, sorry, was that a motion?
It's just
It's
waivers.
Okay.
I mean, special permit
Conditions.
criteria,
Yeah.
conditions.
Roll call
Sorry.
vote. Good, good.
Yep. So going through all of these one by one, proposed project addresses or is consistent with neighborhood or town need. Greg Rondo,
Yes.
Beth Whirling,
Yes.
Jay Mello,
Yes.
Chris Stickney,
Yes.
Jen Williams, yes. Vehicular traffic flow, access, and parking and pedestrian safely are properly addressed. Greg Rondo,
Yes.
Beth Whirling,
Yes.
Jay Mello,
Yes.
Chris Stickney,
Yes.
Jennifer Williams, yes. Public roadways, drainage, utilities, and other infrastructure are adequate or will be upgraded to accommodate development. Greg Rondo,
Yes.
Beth Whirling,
Yes.
Jay Mello,
Yes.
Chris Stickney,
Yes.
Jennifer Williams, yes. Neighborhood character and social structure will not be negatively impacted. Greg Rondo,
Yes.
Beth Whirling,
Yes.
Jay Mello,
Yes.
Chris Stickney,
Yes.
Jennifer Williams, yes. Project will not destroy or cause substantial damage to any environmentally significant natural resource habitat or feature, or if it will, proposed mitigation, remediation, replication, or compensatory measures are adequate. Greg Rondo,
Yes.
Beth Whirling,
Yes.
Jay Mello,
Yes.
Chris Stickney,
Yes.
Jen Williams, yes. Number, height, bulk, location, and siting of buildings and structures will not result in abutting properties being deprived of light or fresh air circulation or being exposed to flooding or subjected to excessive noise, odor, light, vibrations, or airborne particulates. Greg Rondo,
Yes.
Beth Whirling,
Yes.
Jay Mello,
Yes.
Chris Stickney,
Yes.
Jen Williams, yes. Water consumption and sewer use, taking into consideration current and projected future local water supply and demand and wastewater treatment capacity, will not be excessive. Greg Rondo,
Yes.
Beth Whirling,
Yes.
Jay Mello.
Yes.
Chris Stickney.
Yes.
Jen Williams, yes. And finally, the proposed use will not have adverse effects which overbalance its beneficial effects on either the neighborhood or the town in view of the particular characteristics of the site and of the proposal in relation to that site. Greg Rondo,
Yes.
Beth Whirling,
Yes.
Jay Mello,
Yes.
Chris Stickney,
Yes.
Jen Williams, yes.
All set, gentlemen? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item of business would be meeting minutes. This would be the meeting minutes from July 28th, August 25th, and September 8th. Does anybody have any additions, deletions, or notes? If not, I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from July 28th, August 25th, and September 8th. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay. Well, next item of business, and this would be for 380 King Street site plan application. And I understand you're looking for a continuation meeting.
That's correct.
What were you looking for dates based on our schedule?
October 6th.
October 6th, okay. So make a motion to continue 380 King Street till October 6th. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Our next item of business, this would be for continuation of 543 Union Street, Hayden Estates, a definitive subdivision. I understand this would be a brief update. Amy, if you could.
Yep. I can give you a brief update, yep. So, they originally came in, they filed for 6 buildable lots, with drainage and, with the roadway off of Union Street. They've since provided a concept plan, removing one of the buildable lots, so they're down to 5 buildable lots. They have provided several traffic document review. A letter did come in from Mike, today, so that's in front of you right now as his recommendation for roadway lineup. Beta has not reviewed the report because there was no stormwater, so next time they resubmit the stormwater, Beta will review it. Thank you.
This is just generally more of an update of the layout. Is that
Yeah, the
correct?
layout and the traffic.
Okay. If you could just introduce yourselves for the record, please.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Richard Cornetta, attorney for the applicant. Joining me is Mike Hassett of Gary and Howland, our consulting engineer. And as Amy summarized, during the last meeting before you, there were a couple of issues that came up, not the least of which were the number of units. So we wanted to present you with the concept plan with the 5 units and the dedicated drainage lot. During the meeting, there was also some discussion about the alignment of Aiden Drive with the opposing Delta Drive. I believe Mr. Mello may have mentioned something about the lighting in that intersection, so we wanted to provide the board with some information tonight as to that. There was also some issues raised regarding some environmental concerns. I believe Ms. Whirling had mentioned something along those lines. So we did provide a letter to the board to address what the proposed residential project and any potential impacts to the neighboring properties would look like. So we're submitted that, and we're here to address that as well. Let's see. Lastly, I wanted to mention the blueberry bushes. There was some discussion at the last meeting about what would be done with those bushes. I've been instructed by Mr. Calabrese. Unfortunately, he could not be here this evening, but he asked me to address the board on the subject that the bushes are scheduled to be removed and donated and replanted and maintained at a couple of existing blueberry farms in Northborough and Millbury. And there was some discussion that through those agencies that those bushes also, some of them may make their way up to Maine. There's a farm that's artisanal, makes artisanal jams and jellies that they may use those bushes for. So Mr. Kellery's heard the board and the neighbors' concerns and did spend some real time trying to rehome these bushes. So the plan is that this will take place at some point next month, where obviously in an abundance of caution, there will be silt fencing before anything is done on the perimeter of the property so as to not impact the neighboring properties, specifically the neighboring blueberry operation. So with that, I would like to turn it over to Mike Hassett, who might have a little more detail about some of the things that I mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So up here is the presentation plan. As you can see, it's been reduced to 5 homes. Also shown on there is the sidewalk, driveways. The red outline is the revised and expanded basin. That basin's been expanded to handle all stormwater from the development. One of the concerns at the previous hearing was the distributed drainage on the individual lots. There was concerns about maintenance, so we removed all of that from our plans, and that'll be something that Beta looks at when we do our full calculation submittal. But you know, that basin now handles everything. There's no more private drainage. There might be a small entrance handling runoff from the west as it enters the property, but that'll just be to get it into a pipe and get it over to that basin. Also shown in darker green is tree lines. So the western tree line along the butter, that's planned to not really be altered at all. You know, it was cleared previously for the planting of the blueberries, but we're not expanding it any further. On the north edge, you can see that kind of L-shaped tree line. You know, we're preserving as much as we can while still allowing for the construction of the home there. And the lot lines were arranged in such a way that a finger could be preserved to come out, just to preserve as much existing greenery as we could. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, similarly, there was a stand of trees there. A lot of that is staying, and then just whatever we need to take out for grading to make a backyard work is what you see there remaining. The road also got shorter, about 60, 70 feet, I believe. And then so that also pulled impacts away from the abutters. And then I think that's the majority of the changes so far. Obviously, there'll be updated grading and stormwater and stuff for Beta to look at, but that's what I have for this. Are there any questions on this layout before I jump to lighting, when we do it all at once, or?
Just move on through and then
Sure.
we'll defer back to the board and then the audience after.
Site distance first. So it wasn't super clear on the initial plan submittal, but site distance evaluation has been conducted. So we've conducted kind of an aerial overlay with the site distance on here. You have the proposed Aiken Street coming up here, Delta Drive, and looking to the left, you have 527 feet of site distance, and then looking to the right, you have 387 feet of site distance. So as far as meeting standard goes with Beta, we'll obviously take a look at this for you. But you know, those two site distances exceed the minimum intersection site distance of 335 feet, which is the site distance for the posted speed limit of 30. And then, you know, given the propensity for speeding, we also looked at the stopping site distance for a design speed of 45 miles per hour. We don't have a full traffic study on here, so we just kind of exceed, you know, 45 is probably as much as you can expect. And we exceed the stopping site distance. That first 360 feet, and ours was 386. So we believe this intersection will operate safely. Beta will weigh in. That's what we have for that. So this here is a couple options. So the blue is the original road alignment that you looked at last time. And then red is potential realignment. So we faced a couple challenges. There's an existing light pole here. And so we couldn't, you know, move the curbing into that light pole. Moving the utility pole would just is kind of a non-starter. And then in addition, the right-of-way is already tangent at this property line, and so we can't move the property any further to the north. But we still wanted to try to remedy it as best we could. So this red alignment is kind of the new center line option that we proposed. And as you can see, it's plus or minus 1 or 2 feet with the center line of Delta Drive. However, it does kind of have to move out of the center of the right-of-way, so that would require a waiver. But so does the intersection offset. Maglio, town engineer Mike Maglio has weighed in on that. I'll let him speak to his thoughts on it, but we wanted to provide you the 2 options and let you decide what was the best fit. And then this here is just the original layout, just for comparison of how things looked before. You can see this house in particular was a lot further back. And then obviously the limited clearing was right up against this rear lot line. So you can see we're preserving a lot more trees with the current layout. And then we did do a photometrics analysis. That's just a bunch of random numbers on a page, especially when viewed at a distance. So we'll let data speak to that about the intersection lighting adequacy when they have a chance to look at it. You know, if it's determined that additional lighting in that area is needed, we'd be happy to throw an additional light fixture on that pole that's right there at the intersection we were talking about, just to help enhance that lighting. Not on the plans, we also did invoke the environmental impacts of the project. We submitted 2 memorandums, both prepared by Capital Environmental LLC, an environmental scientist firm. And they both just spoke to both the existing use of the Blueberry Farm and how disturbance of that, and any pollutants there might be, what any impacts those would have. They determined that there would not be any. And then also speaking to the proposed use as a residential development and the impacts that might have on the Blueberry Farm. And again, I'm sure Beta will be happy to weigh in on that. If you have any questions on it, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, good, thank you. Before I go to the board, I'll go to Mike about the letter you wrote to us for the alignment. Could you guide us through that one, please?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, thank you. So I did take a look at the alternatives that the applicant submitted as far as offsetting the alignment so that it lines up with Delta Drive across Union Street. There was some discussion at the last meeting on that. My recommendation is just to stick with the original design tab based on the blue lines on that plan. Just it lines up, it's offset from across the street, but the offset's actually in the right direction. So if there's opposing cars facing each other, one from Delta, one from the new driveway, they're offset to the right, so they're not, the headlights aren't facing each other. So if it was offset in the other direction, I'd be more concerned. And I think by shifting, forcing the shift over so they do align better, you're creating a little, kind of a weird curve at the end of the street where I think it's going to be a little problematic maybe. So my recommendation is just to go with the original design.
Okay, good. I guess I'll go to the board. Let's start with Jen first.
Thank you. Appreciate some of the changes that you made in response to the board's concerns. I think one thing I'm still unclear on is the impact to the adjacent property, meaning the existing Blueberry Farm and its agriculture operations, just because I'm not knowledgeable enough in agriculture that I would want input from a professional. I understand what's been written in terms of the changes on this site as it relates to this site.
Mm-hmm.
But what I am still unclear of is sort of the potential impact to the, like I said, the agricultural operation of the adjacent. I didn't see that, which I think is something that I think we expressed we want to understand in the last meeting.
They do have a full letter, but they still need to review it as well, so they can weigh in on that. So did give us a
Mr.
whole.
Chairman.
I know, I read the full.
If you don't
Okay.
mind, Jen, to clarify what you're saying too, is I think what Jen is saying is that they did provide us a letter, however, the letter refers to what will decrease once they cease operation as an agricultural use. So I think what we had asked for was what impacts could potentially occur as a subdivision to an adjacent agricultural use. Am I
Mhm. Yeah,
in-
correct.
All right,
Yes.
so I
That's
don't
what's
think
not-
that's been provided
Yeah,
yet, but
correct.
understanding stormwater and everything has to be contained on your site, get all that, but will there be any other impacts that could potentially happen through this development? And I think that's what we were looking for. Understanding once you cease the operations as a blueberry farm, that yes, you'll no longer be using the chemicals, the fertilizers and everything, so,
Mhm.
but I think some of it was addressed, maybe a little bit about fertilizers for lawns and things being
Mhm.
less impactful than fertilizers for a blueberry farm, but still, could you provide a little bit more detail? Am I saying that correctly, Jen?
Yeah, that's, I just want to understand the impact to the adjacent blueberry farm specifically,
Mhm.
as an established agricultural operation in this town. That's what I'm not seeing in this letter.
And if you can show that there aren't any, then just say there aren't any, but show us something.
Okay, yeah, we'd be happy to reach back out to Capital Environmental, either have them provide an expanded memorandum or perhaps even attend the next hearing, so they can, answer any questions directly.
Mhm. Thank you. Yeah.
I think I had the same comment as Jen, that I just felt a little bit more information on that memo would be helpful. And then looking at the lighting plan, the photometric plan, I know
Mhm.
Beta will review it a little bit more. Could you clarify, it looks like on your property lines closest to Union Street, that you have some spillage over the property lines into the Coffee property. And I can't read who the next one is, sorry, the two properties at the very end as you enter in. Is that due to the street lights, or is that due to your lighting spilling onto their property?
I'm not 100% certain on the result, on the reasoning that that's happening. I suspect it's likely the existing light pole at the end there.
That's what I figured too, yeah.
But I will check with our photometrics preparer and have an answer for you. the next
Great, yeah,
meeting.
just clarify that the existing lighting on Union Street is casting that spillage, that would be
Yeah.
helpful.
And if it's not, we will revise it to make sure that our lighting isn't the culprit.
Great, that's what I was hoping. Let's see. I'm glad that the blueberry bushes are gonna see another life. That's
Mhm.
great. Hopefully they'll survive the transplanting, but thanks for, Mr. Keller, for looking into that. So until we get more information from Beta, I think those will be my comments I have right now. Thanks.
Jay?
The little teeny curve that you have at like station 380, do we need that? I assume you do because it's in there. There's like the teeniest little curve. You're probably not even gonna see it on there, Mike.
Yeah,
So-
I see the PCs and PTs.
Yeah.
It's likely related to areas and frontages and trying to get it to
Yeah.
all fit perfectly.
I'm just thinking for like the plow guy and the break in the curve and everything.
I'll double check if it's necessary. If it is, I'll see what I can do to increase that radius, so it's at least a more gentle curve. You don't end up like kind of a kink in the road, which I think is what you're concerned about.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I got. That's it? Chris?
Jay got the one I was gonna get, but that's all right. No, I appreciate the redesign, and I think the 5 units, the 5 houses makes much more sense than 6 in regards to layout and preserving natural space. I like leaving the natural coverage to the north where I'm servicing that abutter there. I think one thing that would go a long way, I think, to offset some of the environmental concerns, the study's gonna be very helpful, but I think also adding screening to the south, not only for the benefit of the neighboring property, but for those homeowners that are eventually gonna buy these lots, and that they're not enticed to go too far on their property line. Obviously, it's their property line, but if there's a nice row of shrubs and, hey, that's, when they buy the house, that's the line of demarcation, I'm not gonna do anything else beyond that. I think that goes a long way to help protect the neighboring operation as an agricultural property. And other than that, those are my concerns.
Sure, yeah, we'd be happy to explore that with Mr. Calories, and then provide an update for next meeting.
Great, thank you.
Mark?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. everybody took my thunder. I mean, I thought I had that one, but that was one of my concerns, is for some kind of, you know, define that area to the south,
Sure.
and along with the other comments, so I'm all set, thank you.
So I'm looking at this, and you're gonna run a gas line down here, and there's water stuff, you're gonna run sewer. As we're talking about roads that need to be reconstructed, that intersection needs to get reconstructed. If we're gonna cut into it like that, rebuild the intersection, I don't wanna see patches across half the road, or 3/4 of the road. I'd like to see the intersection boxed off and appropriately repaired. So, that's the only one I got there, because I just noticed, I was like, oh wait, that gas main's all the way across the road. So,
Mr. Chairman, just one comment. I would defer to our town engineer regarding the alignment of the roadway. I think his memo and going with whatever direction he recommends is the best thing to do.
Yep. We'll follow. I actually don't have anything myself, really. Everybody else hit on it. Yeah, I think the 5 lots is much more suitable. Shrinking the road, I think that's beneficial. The tree lines, keeping tree lines there. The alignment of the road, lighting. To me, I think it's a much better plan. It's more doable based on the size of the property. So until we hear back from Beta, I'll go to the audience. Just as an FYI, this is just a kind of like a preview of the 5 lots. This will be continued, but if anybody has any questions, just approach the mic. If not, this isn't the last meeting. There'll still be continuation. Just want to approach and just give your name and address, please.
Yes.
I'm Ronald Genetti, 57 Hutchins Street, the owner of the Blueberry Patch. There's one comment made that trees were removed when the blueberry plants were planted. That is not true. No trees were ever removed.
I apologize.
That's okay, just a clarification. Now, the other point I'm interested in is, again, our boundaries. That's going to be a problem. Assuming right now there's a row of blueberries along the border, which is probably 6 inches away from the other property. Let's assume those blueberry bushes are gone. Family moves into the property. They have young children. 9 feet over is another row of blueberries that are sprayed. When the blueberries ripen, the young kids are going to see these delicious blueberries. They're going to be tempted to go over and pick those blueberries. And I'm worried about their health. The recommendation is that the sprays that we use, you can't pick blueberries for 3 days after you spray. Then it's safe. Children don't know that. That's a major concern. And there'll be others that come up later. Thank you.
Just to speak to that, Chris brought up screening and other elements added to that southerly lot line. I think, as we're looking at that, we can take that concern into account as the type of screening we consider to discourage that kind of thing. Obviously, there is no intent for trespass, but we do understand the concern, and so we'll have to look at that.
Is there a way to show the existing line of blueberries on that plan, if it's outbound of the property lines as we speak, outside the tree line?
That
Or
was
is that, or is that the blueberry tree line? And I need to know now, I'm just saying for everybody's clarity.
So we could maybe provide like a rough estimate based off aerials.
Yeah.
But if you wanted the exact, we'd have to get a survey crew out there, and we need permission to enter the
Is
property.
it 30 feet from the lot line, is it 5 feet from the lot line?
Yeah.
That's all, just a roundabout figure to give the board a better.
Yeah, at the next hearing, I'll happily include an approximation based on aerial photography
And that
of
may
the
help
blueberries.
resolve this a little bit of
Yeah.
the situation. Okay. Make sense?
Perhaps, Mr. Chairman, in consideration of your screening, aside from shrubbery or trees, perhaps you'll consider a fence.
Definitely an option. I don't want to commit to anything with
Nope,
Roger
you don't
not
have
here,
to
but.
commit, but just consider it.
Mhm.
It might go a long way.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll go for both sides, but
Mhm.
it's not
Yep, that's true. Yes.
Okay. Anybody else in the audience? Or- No? Okay. I'll make a motion to continue.
Anyone on Zoom?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is anyone on yet? I don't see anyone. Okay. Make a motion to continue with 543 Union Street.
Good evening.
Oh, we have somebody, hold on.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lee Genetti, 57 Hutchinson Street. Thank you for letting me speak, and I'm sorry I can't be there in person tonight. I want to begin by just thanking the petitioner for the presentation. I think it's helpful for us to understand what's being proposed, and there's also a lot for me to digest, so I'm happy to send some follow-up comments and questions after the meeting once we have a better understanding of the proposal. But however, I just want to share a few observations tonight. First, a general comment. I do think it's a huge mistake not to require sidewalks on both sides of the street. It seems silly to me in 2025 if the town would consider creating a neighborhood that's not accessible to all users, regardless of age and ability. Union Street is a busy corridor, and we should be minimizing pedestrian conflicts with vehicles. I'm not sure the board should be considering a proposal that just creates new town infrastructure that's not accessible to all. Additionally, the proposed shielding that the petitioner shows in the lots, and I appreciate the discussion of you all trying to figure out how we may be able to find balances between all the neighbors. Something to really consider is whatever is being proposed are not really permanent easements and can easily be changed by a new buyer when they come in. So I think that's something you all want to be thinking about, and really do appreciate you starting that particular conversation because it is an important one, not only I think from the 557 Union Street side, but for all the butters. Second, one thing I did not hear, nor do I see posted in any of the online information, is what is happening with the artesian well on the property. It is located next to the proposed roadway. This was a joint well that my dad and his brother put in for irrigation, and we know from our experience that the well at 557 Union Street that we use is on the same vein at the one at 543. It's right next to the proposed road. We haven't seen anything about it being capped, what is happening, and this raises significant concerns in terms of what's going to happen to the groundwater related to that well. I know at the last meeting there was some concerns about the topography of the land and how it runs away and how that might not impact the well, but we know that the vein actually runs in the opposite direction. Third, there's still not enough data or information about the proposed stormwater plan, erosion measures, or how the development impacts the recharge of our underground water system that really feeds these wells, and how contaminants from the roadway, things that go into the stormwater or from the household use will really impact the water quality and makeup of the water. You know, since what you allow at 543 Union Street will directly impact not only all butters, but in particular our farm, we're requesting that there be an independent, unbiased assessment and report on this topic. I think it is really important to have clarity on sort of how the planning board is thinking about this and what you're going to require. I do want to say I'm deeply concerned about hearing tonight about the removal of the existing bushes. This will impact the area in terms of erosion as this process is going through, and will impact the neighboring butters in terms of stormwater runoff and what's happening. So I think that was very, very concerning to me. And I think finally, there was a line in the petitioner's packet that speaks to the, and I'm doing air quotes, environmental benefits of the discontinuation of a blueberry farm operation. The board started talking about it, but I would really encourage you to reject this framing. And because I think the sentiment speaks to the need for an independent assessment and review. If you want to hear a more legitimate assessment to the environmental benefits of a blueberry farm and what will be when it's discontinued in perpetuity, I think you're going to hear about pollinator habitats, carbon storage in soil, natural stormwater management in the soil, local source of produce, and that it's part of the landscape of New England that contributes to property values and fits in with the goals of not only the Commonwealth about protecting farmland, and I think the goals that were set out in the master plan that Franklin just went through. So I encourage the board to reject the petitioner's framing about the benefits of discontinuing farm use, and I think this really does speak to why you need to have an independent assessment and review on these. That's a very, very troubling framing for me from the petitioner. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else up there? I can't see it.
I know.
Can you put the list?
I
I
don't
just can't
know
see
how
everyone
to
outside,
do view, and I'm
Okay.
doing the webinar, so I might not be set up for it. I have to work on that.
Okay. All right, that being said, we're going to continue. Excuse me?
There's one more.
Yeah.
Am I showing all the utility connections on the plan next time? Because I don't see like any of them.
Sure, yeah, no, this was just to address those specific
Yeah,
issues.
it was the other one on here, because you showed the water stuff and that's when I was like, I want to see everything else.
Yeah, this is just conceptual for the 5, from the 6 lots down to the 5, just showing the drainage, all the calculations, everything else will come back to Beta and Mike.
We'll be doing a full resubmittal with drainage, grading,
Correct.
utilities, all of that updated for the 5 lots. We just wanted to make sure that this conceptual layout, which it sounds like lotting wise, it has been largely well received. And so I think we can feel comfortable moving forward with a more full engineering design, which, speaking to his concern, does address compliance with state and local standards for stormwater, which includes pollutant removal and groundwater recharge. And that will be independently reviewed by Beta. That is just for the abutter. That's the town's peer reviewing engineer hired, by them and under their responsibility. That they'll review it, so you don't have to take our word for it. And I'm sure everything that we've submitted will be reviewed by Beta. But we're happy, like we said, to address Beth's comments about additional environmental impact analysis.
Mr. Chairman, and just one final, when you're doing that environmental impact statement, maybe addressing impacts to the well would be beneficial as well.
Sure, yeah, I mean, the intent is to decommission it in accordance with all local and
Yep.
regulations, but
Then just include
I'll
that.
expand upon that.
Mhm. Thank you.
Okay. Amy?
I'm all set. I'm thinking October 20th. I don't know how long it's gonna take for stormwater management. It's either October 6th or October 20th.
I think the 20th makes the most sense.
Okay.
So make a motion to continue 543 Union Street, Aiden Estates till October 20th. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item of business will be 860 to 862 West Central Street. This is the Glen Farmer, this is a special permit supplement application. If I could go to Amy, Bob McLean, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is recently a new bylaw that was adopted not too long ago in 2025 to allow the LED signage through a special permit by the planning board. It was allowed in certain zones. I know the planning board had recommended it to town council, and town council has well approved a change in the bylaw. They will need to go to design review commission if they are approved by the planning board, so that's still on the table. And then I know that there's wetlands on the site, so I think they really need to follow up with the Conservation Commission to determine if they need to file a conservation.
So, Amy, if I could just go to the applicants, if you can introduce yourselves for the record, please.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I'm Valerie Moore from Nutter McLennan and Fish at 155 Seaport Boulevard in Boston on behalf of the applicant. With me tonight is our civil engineer, John Cusick from Bowler, and Patrick Downing, the owner of Glen Farmer, and Beth Downing is here as well, who is also the owner.
If you could give us a brief overview of what you're doing with the new sign.
Yes, absolutely. So as Ms. Love indicated, in the last year, the town passed an amendment to its zoning bylaw to allow within certain business districts in town LED signs to be allowed by special permit from the planning board. And the bylaw specified 2 conditions that a sign needs to meet in order to receive a special permit. The first one is that no traffic safety hazard will be created either by the location of the structure or its operation. And the second, that there will be no light spillage onto a public roadway or any abutting property. So we've submitted a site plan to you that shows the proposed location of the sign that is designed to comply with the bylaw, which has a different setback requirement for signs. And you can see from the site plan that it's quite a distance from either of the abutting side lot lines. So there's a nice buffer there from the location. I assume you're all familiar with the location on West Central Street. It is in a business district. It is across from the 99 restaurant where there is already an electric sign that lights up significantly at night. It's a well-lit street in the evening. The business that operates at the site today is a restaurant, distillery, and event space that would really benefit from being able to have variable messaging to welcome different events and to advertise its offerings to the public. So that's the reason for the proposed change in sign. We've also submitted a design that shows you what that sign will look like, though obviously it will be subject to design review as was indicated. So we've thoughtfully designed the sign to comply with the criteria in the bylaw. With that, I will turn it over to John to walk through those two criteria specifically.
Sure. Thank you. So we submitted a letter dated September 4th as part of your package. There's really not a lot of information to provide. It's pretty straightforward relative to the criteria, but just reading off of the letter at a high level, everyone's familiar with that stretch of roadway. It's a pretty quiet stretch of roadway, and you've got great sight lines as soon as you turn on from 140, looking down past BJ's. You can actually see the bend of the road, so you've got great sight lines the entire way. There's very limited businesses on that roadway, no residences in this stretch anyway. So there's just not a lot of sight issues, perfect sight lines. The existing sign is set back as well from the property line. And it's notable, it's across from the 99 sign, which you drive by that's actually a very bright sign. If you see that, there's actually 2 street lights on either side of it as well. That said, the light by itself is designed not to cast light outside. It'll be essentially just illuminating the sign. And for really those reasons, I think it fully complies with the stated criteria as part of the special permit. Can certainly get into any more detail, but that's really it in a nutshell.
Okay, good, thank you. We'll go to the board. Board, any comments, questions? I'll start this end. Mark. Comments, questions?
I do have a couple of questions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One, would the hours of illumination, are they going to be during operating hours? Is that the plan?
The intent would be to have it operate during our business hours. So right now, we are open until 10 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays, and 9 o'clock on Monday through Thursday, 8 o'clock on Sundays.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yes.
My second question would be, will the sign consist of any like flashing lights or animated things going on, excluding, say, time and temperature type of thing?
So it's not necessarily the plan to have time and temperature on there, just to be transparent.
Yeah.
So flashing, definitely not. It is a fully functioning LED screen, so it will have the opportunity or the ability to show graphics, but the intent is not to have it be, how can I say, the LEDs themselves will create the attraction to the sign.
Mm-hmm.
It's the brightness. I can't tell you how many times, even within town, speaking to people, they don't know where we're located. We do tastings in liquor stores throughout the region, and you'd be surprised how many people from Franklin don't know that there is a distillery in Franklin. And so, because of all the reasons that John spoke to, the way our building is situated on the other side of the river, it blends in. And so the intent is to attract attention to the sign, but not in a flashing way.
Thank you, Wade. No further questions, thank you.
Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What's the distance of the sign to the street? Like the far end of the barrel to the street?
I believe it's 12 feet is shown on the site plan, is the setback to the property line. And it looks like there's a little bit of additional buffer between the property line itself and the street. I don't have that exact distance, but we can certainly ask the engineer to try to measure that if that would be helpful.
Yep, okay. Mike, does our right-of-way extend beyond the current street line into the property as it's currently?
So I believe the property line that's shown on the plan in red is representative of the right-of-way line.
The red line, okay.
And actually, that section of West Central Street is actually not the town's right-of-way, it's actually state highway.
Oh, still the state highway?
Yeah,
Okay, all
yes.
right. Okay. And from the graphic here, is it going to be a 12-foot high sign? I mean, you have a person standing next to the barrels. And
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Assuming they are
representative of
giants.
it. I mean, an average whiskey barrel, it's an actual barrel, they're real barrels. So 3 feet is probably about right, so yes, I would say 12 feet.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're away from the lot line, and to Mark's point, if we're not operating during non-business hours, so at nighttime there's not just a running sign, I think no major issues on my end.
Good, thank you, Chris. Jay?
All right, I'm not a lighting guy. I pretend to be one, so I'm not lighting questions. The signboard lists a maximum of 700 NITs at nighttime. However, I'm reading a report from the Nevada Department of Transportation, and it recommends a maximum of 150 NITs at night. This is all Greek to me. Is it possible that we could have Beta un-Greek this?
I can
Yeah,
ask
just because
Beta
it's-
to review lighting.
This is saying use 150 max, a sign says you can put 700 max out. I don't know what any of it means. So just to know like what level the sign would operate at, I guess is the only question I have. Yeah, well, it says up to 700. Oh, no, that's a meter. That's a meter. That's just the meter. So this is what I was using right here. So standard features, brightness, daytime 7,500 NITs maximum, nighttime 700 NITs maximum. So just to know what the thing would function at, because this report over here has like something, and I don't know what any of that means. So looking for a problem.
So you're looking for the proposed operational?
Yeah, the proposed
level?
operational,
Okay.
like lumens, NITs, lux, whatever, just some beta can.
I believe the reason that it states that it's up to 700 is because the brightness of the sign is variable. And the intent, obviously, is to make sure that it's visible. But as Valerie was saying, as John kind of alluded to as well, if you drive down West Central Street at night, you're going to find that the parking lot, and I have no issue with what the 99 is doing, but it's very bright. And so at the end of the day, even if it's on maximum, but we don't need it to be on maximum, you're not going to have a spillage issue because the spillage is running the other way. And that's part of the problem. It's dark on that side, on my side, not my side, but the distillery side of the street. And so we're trying to call attention to it. I think if you drive down there at night, you'll find that it's very bright in the other direction.
So if you review the lighting study that we submitted that was prepared by the sign manufacturer, Watchfire, talks about the fact that these signs are actually designed to adjust based on ambient light so that it's not too bright and so that it can be responsive to whether it's a cloudy day or a really sunny day. So it wouldn't necessarily be operating at one specific level of light all the time because then you wouldn't be able to see it when it's super sunny out. So if it would be helpful, you know, we could try to recommend to the board, you know, a proposed maximum or something like that for a condition that you could include in a decision. I don't have a number for that tonight, but we could supply that to you. And then we wouldn't operate it any brighter than that, but certainly any concerns about brightness should be addressed by the hours of operations limits that were discussed earlier.
So I'm reading a bunch of stuff into this now. It's basically saying, it's recommended that new technologies not exceed 100 nits. During the nighttime hours, the luminosity of 150 nits will provide sufficient surface brightness for digital signs which is comparable to digital signs across the nation. So I want to see, and that's in line with Illuminating Engineering Society of North America recommendations. So I guess I'd want to see this, yeah, just looked at and have it looked at a little bit better, because 750 is 5 times that, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Beth?
Yeah, I don't recall our bylaw, I know it was adopted recently, but do you remember if it had any specifications on brightness or anything to that extent?
It does
It
not.
didn't
Not.
address that.
It does not.
All right.
It was all permit.
What was that?
I believe it was all permit based.
Yeah.
It's our discretion.
Well, the language that it has on lighting is specific, that there be no light spillage onto the public roadway or any abutting property. It doesn't frame it in terms of a specific brightness level.
Gotcha. Okay. And kind of along what Jay's saying, if we can just get that information from you, I think discussing a brightness limit would be helpful, and I do understand that it changes with the lighting that's naturally occurring. My only other comment would be, I think it talks, Watchtower talks about hold times and animations. My preference would to not allow animations, just static images that switch at certain times per message. I like the design. It's great. Of course, it was a cam. Signed by cam, as always.
Jen?
I guess, I think some of my questions honestly are possibly more for Amy's department, but, and just bylaw clarification in recent amendment. So, 18520C3, from what I'm reading in our bylaws, is talking about an LED message board being allowed by special permit as the amendment change to that, right? And that paragraph, just for everyone's reference, I'm guessing was tweaked because it was only covering previously manually changeable reader boards with no more than 3 lines of text, and it indicates that the color should be the sign. Reader board should be the color of the sign, or white with black, red, blue, or white block letters and numbers. However, then later on, in 18520, and I guess the question is, has this part of the bylaw been amended? Section E, which talks about prohibited signs. Because I'm literally looking online what's there live, and there are no amendments from this year on there, so A, when is that going to happen? Because I would like to see the actual verbiage of the amendment. But was E amended, because that says any signs have any part that moves or flashes or has signs or traveling light or animated type are just flat out prohibited. So it's not even like a question of can it be or not, at least from what I'm reading in
I think
the
that was part of the
bylaw.
bylaw that was addressed. It's just-
The one that's referenced in the letter is from section C. This
Yeah,
is from
there
section
was
D.
an amendment to E as well. I didn't
Yeah.
supply that because I thought C covered what we needed to address in the materials, but certainly I'm sure the town clerk can supply a copy, or I can get you a copy of the amendments that were made to E as well. But previously, because that section was so prohibitive and people were seeking variances in order to permit these signs throughout town, and that's not really a good permitting practice, the town did amend both sections in order to allow these types of signs.
So the part that says no
That was amended.
LED, that was amended as well. So section E was amended as well. Okay. sorry, I didn't see that amendment specifically. Glenn Farmer, 100%, amazing business, like, love it. I personally love it. Want to see a business like Glenn Farmer continue to succeed. Only asking these questions to make sure that anything that we decide as a board is just consistent with what is happening, you know, throughout town, and is fair and is protecting the safety and welfare. So I have no problem with the designer board. I think I just want to triple check that it's meeting all the current requirements. And is there a frequency of how often the image or messaging is going to change? I guess that's my last thing, is what you are showing a message board, or is this flat out just an LED screen where you can put whatever content you want there? So really, what's the definition of message board? Like, did that definition of message board also get changed in the amendment?
Yes.
That it's not 3 lines of text? Okay.
So a message board is like the one that's right up here. Those are still permitted, it's just, this is an addition to that, saying that you can now have
Just whatever
It's
content
LED.
you want counts as a
Mhm.
message board.
I think part of our comment when we were reviewing that was that we wanted to see some language as to brightness, message changing,
Yeah, the frequency.
timing, all of that, but I don't know as though that got put into it, so
Yeah.
the final version.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
would have been helpful for us to be able to hear applications and make decisions easier.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we don't want to prolong anything unnecessarily. But yeah, otherwise I have no issues with the like design of the sign at all. Just want clarification on how frequently it's going to be changing.
Okay, good.
Would you like us to provide information on that now, or?
If you have it now, sure.
I mean, the plan is for the information to be able to change approximately every 1 minute. So that, obviously, if you've driven down that stretch of street, it's not that long. You know, one driver is not likely to see more than one message, but it would allow for some changing of the information for people who might be on the street multiple times in one day. But it's, that's not a hard and fast guarantee that it will constantly be changing every minute.
Okay. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is really the first that have come in front of us, so yeah, so we're kind of beating you up a little bit, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say beating up, I was
no.
just trying to do our due
Cla-
diligence.
clarifying,
Yes.
because
Yeah,
this was
Yeah,
perfectly
this is the
left,
first one,
yeah, it was
Yeah.
perfectly left wide open, so we could do
don't
this.
feel, you know,
Yeah.
you get picked on, that's my point. Everybody else said what I had. So the Glen Farmer, just a real quick question, the Glen Farmer itself will be lit up like in one color, then Happy New Year could be lit up in a separate color? You're just gonna leave Glen Farmer and say one consistent color?
So the Glen Farmer is, essentially it has aluminum on the front, and so from the sides, it's lit.
Okay.
So it'll essentially appear to be almost backlit at night. During the daytime, it's probably not going to show anything one way or the other. It'll just be the aluminum against the dark gray or the graphite gray sign. The message board below is an LED, and that's what would change.
I think everybody did pretty much what I had, more about illumination, durations of time. So Amy, what are we gonna do? Because we're talking Conservation Commission and design review.
Yeah, so, two things. Do we want Beta to review the plans? Is that what the board agrees on?
I think we want Beta to just provide some input on standards, or give us some suggestions on standards. I don't necessarily know as though, I don't know, maybe.
So the IESNA is what we need to be comparing this to. They're the guys who make illumination standards. So if Beta could compare this plan to whatever IESNA recommends, I think that's
That'd be.
sufficient, yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And through the chair, I just want to, this is also going to go, Design Review Commission is much more familiar with sign bylaws. Like, I just, are the square footages that are being proposed, the sign overall in the, literally the area of the LED portion itself within the allowed bylaw requirements?
The sign was designed to comply with the zoning bylaw.
Okay. Right. I shouldn't know if the, like, size of the LED portion was amended or.
What about the size of the kegs on the side? Those
I don't know anything about the design bylaws, that's for the Design Review Commission to.
All right, so Amy, what do we want to do?
I think if we're gonna have Beta review it, I would probably say October 20th.
Okay, and then we'll just,
And I don't know if the applicant wants to submit further information before I send it off to Beta, or I can send the current information.
yeah, maybe just
How-
double check
Or you can touch base with me tomorrow, how you
what
want
we're
to
trying to
handle
address,
it
and
as
then we
well.
can get it all cleaned up.
Sure, I mean, I think we'll submit a letter to you to comment on and make our suggestions with respect to the lighting, and to answer other questions that came up tonight. We don't expect it will be that much, but we can certainly do that pretty quickly.
Okay, good.
Mr. Chairman, Valerie, could you also include your proposed, you said that 1 minute, estimate every 1 minute, and just indicating whether you are proposing to have any animation or those, all those kind of.
Yeah, we can address those questions in it, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, so, anybody out there in Zoom? No, Amy? See anybody? Okay. Make a motion to continue zoning bylaw amendment, 860, 862 West Central Street, Glen Farmer site plan for special permit to October 20th. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amy, where can I find the amendment if it's not online?
If it's, I'm gonna have to ask the town clerk. So all the amendments go through town clerk, and they typically have a paper copy on file there, because we have a service that we pay, so they don't automatically update it with every single amendment. So I'm gonna have to find out where, if it is available online. Sometimes it
Typically
is,
done like once a year or something? or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
At
is
the end of the
soon,
year, yeah.
which is typically soon. So I'll ask the town clerk.
It's just tough when you're like trying to do your, like, due diligence and then it's not our actual code.
All good? All right. So we'll move on to our last item. This will be for our zoning bylaw amendments, amendments 25-929 through 25-954. This is the crossing neighborhood at Union Street. If I could go to Amy, I know we had some clarifications and.
Yeah, so the corrected amendment schedule is in your packet, and that was more about setbacks. It was attachment 9, so that is updated. I don't know if there were a few recommendations about removing some of the allowed uses in some of the other attachments. There were a few comments about that. And this would be a recommendation to the town council.
Okay. Go to the board. Start with Mark first, if you want to go, Mark. Any comments or questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Unless I missed it, I was looking in regards to a percentage of the commercial space being a part of, be a part of the overall footprint to encourage businesses to be more retail, not so much business, that accept salons and restaurants and things like that. I know Jen mentioned that I think she mentioned 90% of the frontage, the linear frontage being commercial space, for retail. So I didn't see that in the packet. I don't know if I missed it.
Well, we can always make it contingent upon it goes to town council to a
Yeah.
recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, sorry if I just made 1 second. So no changes were made to this packet except for me replacing that attachment 9 from the last meeting. So basically, any suggested changes would be in a recommendation to town council if the board were to take a vote on this. So, because this is what's in front of town council, so it would be a recommendation in the letter that goes to town council if there are any of these suggested changes.
So could that be added?
I wouldn't see that.
Okay, right, thank you.
You good, Mark?
I'm still hung up on the parking, 1.5, but I guess compromise. 1.5 for the residential.
One.
Versus, it's, I guess the proposal is 1.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see it to 1.5.
Tight lines down.
I'm sorry?
There'll be some.
Yeah, I
tight
understand
lines,
that.
So I think there's a compromise.
Okay.
We're trying to come to,
But I'm good.
Good, thank you. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would also echo Mark's consideration for commercial space. I found that's one thing that we struggle with when we have these mixed-use projects come through, that they just throw a closet up and say, this is commercial. So I think having either a percentage of the building or a percentage of the linear front foot or a designated square foot is going to help us win that fight more often than not. And then I also want to encourage whatever Beth and Jen had for changes to use, permissible uses that they elaborated very well on. That's all I got.
That's good, thank you. Jay?
They don't want all the use stuff. I don't want to see another real estate office in there.
Well, you can't control that.
I just don't, I mean, you can encourage more things. You can't control it, but you can encourage.
Yes, with bigger boxes.
But other than that, you're good? Other than that, you're good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yep, kind of same sentiments. Let's really tackle, if we're really going to do something that's supposed to be encouraging commercial uses and a diversity of first floor uses, then I would say that we need to really bulk up our requirements for how much square foot is needed in that development, so we don't get the closets. I'm still hung up on the permitted by right versus requiring a special permit. Again, a brewery, distillery, or winery production with a tasting room requires a special permit, but a train station or a bus station does not. So I don't understand that one. I'm really hung up on that. And then I also, this is before us as creation of a new zoning district called what is it? Sorry, I don't see it. Crossing neighborhood, something to that effect. So I'm really curious why we have snuck in a change in C1 to allow 2 families by conversion when everything else is dealing with this crossing district. If you want to change something in C1, let's talk about C1 as a whole and not try to throw it in when you're talking about this new zoning district. I don't necessarily disagree that by conversion, 2 families in C1 is a great thing, but we're not advertising this as a C1 change. We're advertising this as a new zoning district. So let's be really clear and transparent to everyone. This really isn't the time to be changing our use in the C1 zone.
That, I believe that was a previous zoning change.
It's
That-
not shown on here, is that?
On here, it's not showing it,
No,
where we
it's-
have, yeah,
Do we have that
that needs to be a correction. So that was already made in the last zoning changes we made to attachment 7.
So are we sure everything else is okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We're gonna hold you to it.
Well, it's just,
No.
I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but I mean,
No,
it's
sure.
not showing the right thing again. I'm just a little bit
So we'll just make note.
leery that everything else is showing correctly. So I guess that's my big hang-ups, is that the special permits that are required for some things just don't make sense to me, and the by rights don't make sense to me.
Do you want to make a recommendation, make the fire rights special permit?
I think
I mean, it's
at
gonna
least
be a recommendation of town
3.13,
council.
brewery, distillery, or winery production with a tasting room, I would recommend that's changed to yes versus a special permit. I would recommend that a bus station or railroad station is changed to special permit, not by right. I would recommend, you have a garden center, retail or wholesale, special permit. How do people feel about that?
I don't think a garden center is what we're looking for over there.
So special permit?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking for commercial storefronts and residential units above, ideally.
Yep. Animal grooming is by right? Yes?
No,
No?
I think that
Special
should
permit?
be special permit.
Okay, so
Yeah, because they're doing overnight stays with veterinarians.
special permit?
Yep.
Okay. Office, excluding office parks, you've got a bank, yes. Medical, dental, professional, clerical, funeral home. Special permit as of right. Hotel, motel, planning, special permit. Okay. We've got a restaurant or bar by right, and again, kind of comparing that to a distillery. Why is your distillery requiring a special permit, but a restaurant and bar does not?
Yeah, I absolutely think that the distillery and brewery needs to be allowed by right.
Shopping center, I think that's probably, is that defined in our bylaws as to what shopping center large scale? Is that what we're talking, like a strip mall type thing, or what is a shopping center?
Yeah, does that have a definition? Because that's vague.
It should.
Because we don't want a strip mall.
Shopping center, a single retail establishment with a building.
I don't think we have to worry about that.
No,
Cover
we
that
don't.
No, I don't think there's enough, there's not enough room, there's not enough area in that.
Yeah, it doesn't qualify, it's special
That's
permit.
it.
I would say leave it as a special permit.
But at least special permit, you got some kind of say.
Let's see, where was I? I lost my place, sorry. Shopping center, there we
Storage
go.
facility.
Tattoos.
We don't want a storage facility.
It's a no.
Where's that one? It's a no.
It's already a no.
It's a no. Tourist home? What is a tourist home?
I think we discussed that the last time.
I know this is painstaking, sorry guys. Okay, tourist home here. Tourist home, a building of residential character with a resident family offering lodging with or without meals. For
So bed and breakfast.
bed and breakfast?
But then that's in a different category.
Right,
That
that's
should
its
be
own.
special
Is it
permit.
tourist home?
You're not gonna see them without a special permit.
Well,
No?
what's
I
wrong
don't
with
think
that?
we've permitted any of those.
Huh?
I don't think we even have permitted any of those in town.
I know that, that's what I'm saying, so you're never gonna come across them. If you do, at least you got something to say. about it.
Country store, yes. Function hall is a special permit.
I think so, yep.
Okay.
Music and things like that.
I think, let's see.
I have a bunch of comments on the recreational uses.
Landscape, contract is your bus railroad station, I think I covered that one, special permit.
Why not just make them a no? Do
Yeah, we don't want a
bus
bus,
station
no.
Or a train station, just make it a no, right? Recommend that it be a no? They're not gonna add another commuter bus stop there. There's
We're
not
trying
gonna
to
be a
get
bus.
the zoning lot right now as we speak, so.
So I would say just remove the headache entirely, just say no.
No, not even a bus stop, a
Nope.
bus station.
I guess the thing is
Well,
like
a
Gapter
stop.
was down there or something.
I guess that's different though,
Yeah.
station versus a stop,
Yeah, that's much different.
so no.
Then maybe,
Bus station, railroad station, no. Okay. So we got manufacturing and processing. You have biotech, no. You have light manufacturing and process as a special permit. Medium and heavy is no.
I don't think we want.
We want special permit on that.
Mhm.
just for noise. if they go
I'm just saying, I don't think we should,
Why should, it should be there at all?
that's what I'm saying, I don't think it should be there at all. I think it should be in other parts of town.
Or you
Industrial
can just
uses
take
in
it
the-
right off the
I
table.
think,
MBI.
my thought is that you permitted the, what's that, gosh, I'm sorry.
The mixed business integration, it ended up being all manufacturing instead of being
Yeah.
restaurants, and
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
now it's
Yeah.
a
So you're saying
dead
just
zone,
take
I'm
it
saying
right
take it
off.
out.
Because
It's
you're
not
gonna end up
what
with
we
the
want
same
there.
exact thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There are plenty of other places in town that somebody can put that type of
I would suggest the
light
same thing.
manufacturing or storage. type
So
stuff.
instead of a special permit, no?
Correct. That's what I would.
Publishing, printing. Almost done. Oh, I did that one. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to go quick here. Public utility, can't do much about that one. Research and development, biotech, solid waste, warehousing. No. Wholesale. Wholesale office without storage.
To me, that sounds like Franklin Light. Like giant storefront, they don't have a warehouse.
Mhm.
That's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah,
Which is super.
yeah.
That's retail.
It is
Mhm.
retail, I agree with you, but it's also a
Mhm.
showroom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're good with that one?
Yep.
It already said the brewery, yes. That. Cemetery, hospital, charitable institutions, library, museum. Yes, 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 public use, yes. Okay, good with that. All right, I think that covers it. Is that everything? Did I get all the pages?
There's a couple of recreation,
Oops.
there's
Sorry, I forgot.
section 5.
Hold on.
No, that's,
All right, indoor commercial amusement recreation assembly, yes?
yeah, the only one on here is, like, what is concentrated, like,
I'm looking up the definition for you. So we got
Constant.
indoor commercial, general, is a commercial recreation use conducted entirely within a building having minimum external impacts on the surrounding neighborhood, such as assembly hall, auditorium, exhibit hall, performance theater, swimming pool. So here's a question for you. So if we're saying yes to general assembly halls, but you're saying no or special permit to, what was the one?
Function hall?
No, was it cater, function hall? Did you
Yeah,
say
function
hall?
hall,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, Chris, I thought you said
Yeah.
something else. Sorry.
yes.
So why are you saying special permit for function hall, but saying assembly
Right.
hall? Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a function hall should be allowed, I mean, like, if you're allowing catering in restaurants or.
So
I
would
think,
say
so,
same.
we were really trying to keep the uses
Assembly.
along the existing allowed uses that were C1, which it was. So the gist of putting this whole bylaw together was to maintain the existing uses for the current property owners.
Well, it would be grandfathered in.
Yeah.
But like function hall, special permit, allows the board to control the amount of parking and
Right, but what that's
noise.
the point is that
That's the
general
difference between
assemblies
the
are
two.
allowed just, it's a
Right.
permitted use without going in front of us, so why is
I
that
don't know
being
if
used
we
for
have
the
any
function
general
halls?
assembly at this point.
But this opens the door, that's the thing, like,
They
Why
should be
make it harder
consistent, is
for
all
us?
we're saying.
yeah.
So put special on both of them then, and
Right.
then it's consistent.
Have it
And
be the same as
then they crisscross with each other in terms of overlap. I'd be concerned with noise, bands, et cetera, in a function hall with adjoining neighbors.
How's that any different than a band playing at a restaurant or a bar?
Because you
just
have
set a-
neighbors upstairs.
You just set a
potentially.
time, you have this neighbors upstairs of a, bar that's on the bottom floor of a multi-family. I don't know, you just have to set,
Mhm.
like,
I know that's what I'm saying, if you said special permit to it, you have.
I mean, La Catina's been holding bands for years.
yeah.
That's-
I'm just saying, we don't wanna prohibit,
No, you're not prohibiting.
there's noise ordinances that exist. Like, if somebody's moving into a mixed-use development where there's a restaurant on the ground floor, that's a risk that you take by living there.
I personally don't.
But you also want to protect the people that are going there, if they're condos and they're buying into it, they don't.
Then they know what they're buying
Well, they're
into.
buying, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, some people find that desirable to like live in that type of.
I
I think we have noise ordinance, I think the
Yeah,
noise
I
ordinance
have no
needs to.
issues with.
I don't have any issues with indoor commercial amusement general being a yes, and nor do I have any issues with the function hall being yes.
Correct. I think function hall should be allowed. I also think automatic amusement device arcades should be allowed at the very least by special permit, but I don't see how that's any different than some other type of indoor amusement. Like, let's get arcades down there. I don't know. How's that?
What about General Assembly?
So the general assembly, I have no issues with that being in Y, but that's just me.
Being
Others?
what?
No, I don't.
Being
Okay,
allowed?
yes.
Yeah.
And then concentrated is a commercial recreation use conducted entirely within a building with potentially significant external impacts on the surrounding neighborhood. So along your lines, Greg, I have no issues with that one being a special permit.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Just
I don't have an issue with the general, because that's
Yeah.
entirely indoors. The concentrated could be external, so I could see that one needing a special permit. Skating rinks, bowling alleys, yada, yada, yada.
For what it's worth, we do also allow outdoor light in general, just as a permitted use without special permit.
Outdoor, what do you,
Number 5.4, A, B.
Yep, so general is a commercial recreation use conducted entirely within a building, having minimum external impacts, whereas concentrated is a commercial recreation use conducted entirely within a building with potentially significant external impacts.
Yeah,
it's
all
like
I'm-
the-
all I'm
it's like the
saying is-
soccer- It's like the soccer within the building, it's confined within the building, it's not outbound of the building, so.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that might conflict conceptually with then what we say is allowed in 5.4 A, B, in terms of outdoor.
So outdoor
Recreation,
commercial
amusement.
amusement, let's see. All right, so we got, same thing, Jen, let's read the definitions. Outdoor commercial amusement recreation, light commercial recreation land use primarily conducted outside a building, minimal impact on traffic, natural environment, surrounding neighborhood. Botanical gardens, hiking trails for passive recreation. No issues with the yes on that one.
No.
General, commercial recreation land use primarily conducted outside a building, potentially moderate impacts on traffic, natural environment, surrounding neighborhoods, such as athletic fields, paintball, miniature golf, pitch and putt, skateboard park, tennis club, baseball courts, basketball courts and batting cages, driving ranges. By right,
Right, so we want,
Uh,
if we're concerned
That's
about
there.
neighbors.
That's there.
already?
Yeah,
Okay.
downtown sports.
That's indoors.
That's indoor.
That's indoor.
Yeah.
We're talking outdoor.
This is
Outdoor,
outdoor.
Amy.
So what do you do if somebody wants to
Mhm.
set up pickleball courts and drives the whole neighborhood nuts?
Right now, it's allowed just a permitted use.
But that's what I'm
Doesn't have to
saying,
go.
you may
So
want to put special.
And then,
I mean-
we got one more, concentrated, commercial recreation land, primarily outside the building, potentially significant impacts on traffic, natural environment surrounding neighborhoods such as water park. Oh, can you imagine a water? Sorry, that just made-
We have our change in use bylaw in
That's
place
the
as
word.
well.
Yeah.
So with these significant changes over 600 square feet, we have our change in use bylaw, which requires them to come to the planning board, no matter if it's an allowed use or not.
So I think.
So that bylaw itself is gonna trigger a lot of the stuff you guys are looking to change.
I think what it says here for concentrate is no, agree with that one. Do you think that the general should be a special permit or by right?
All I'm saying is that sounds like it might start to have impact on neighbors, so it feels like it would want a special permit. If that's like the
What
reasoning.
number is that one?
5.4B.
So
If that's a reasoning for other
PB.
things like indoor concentrated, also.
You want that to be a no?
PB.
No,
No,
PB.
PB.
Special permit.
And my last thing is I think 5.7 should be a yes. I don't see why it couldn't have.
I don't think it's any different than having a use entirely inside of a building. Yeah.
It's
There's
a,
actually
it's a cool entertainment thing that would bring people down
There's
there.
one, and I wanted,
There used to
can't,
be one in
What's the
in the
bill?
old
Is that what it is?
Little
Oh,
Java.
that one's so
You
cool.
pay at the door, you walk in, so it's.
You pay $20 and you.
Oh, yeah,
and you
play free.
unlimited
The-
games.
yeah. Play free, there's a few of them in Worcester, there's some in Providence.
Arcade when it initially opened, right?
They nearly have drinks.
I believe it was.
Yeah, they did.
I
Just
think it
saying,
was.
that would be cool.
Oh, it'd be awesome, yeah,
Yes.
sweet.
Yes.
40 years ago.
Yeah, free
Alright,
play or
arcade,
whatever they call them.
Automatic immune devices in arcade, yes.
Yes.
Health
I didn't know
club,
that at the time.
Yes.
Over the trees.
okay,
That.
I think we covered it all.
Yep.
Mhm.
My only like minor, this isn't have to do with commercial neighborhood, but just double check your footnotes in all of the
Mhm.
things, because in some of them you like changed like 6, 7, 8, got rid of 6, and then that hasn't been chased through in other cells in the chart in terms of footnotes. So just double check that.
Okay.
Okay.
So, do you want me to read what we've said just to make sure we have it all?
I think Amy was
Okay.
thinking.
If you want to, I have them, but yeah.
Okay, no, you're good.
I think one unsolved thing is, I know this is a recommendation on the commercial space. Do you when your recommendation, do you want a percentage? Or
I'd
do
like
you
to see at least
want-
20% of the building.
And I would like to see at least
a minimum.
90 or 85% of the front, definition of the front elevation,
Front facade.
front yard,
Yeah.
first floor to be visible, 85% of linear footage to be visible
85%?
commercial use.
Well.
Yeah,
basi-
yeah, because you need, I'm saving 15% if they need some sort of door or access to upper levels for something else. But in my mind, the rest should be, if it's commercial, it should be the.
Downtown commercial is 25%.
Yeah, I think that's way too little.
25% is what, the frontage?
Yes.
I think
That's why we ended.
that's why we end up with dead spots.
And that doesn't mean a individual commercial unit is,
Yeah.
it's
It's
the
multi,
entire street.
multi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be multi, it could be one, but my point is if that's the spirit of the bylaw, then it should be
Right.
Carry through the.
walkable, yeah, from building to building. You don't want people stopping because it's dead spots.
Like storefront to storefront.
Yeah, yeah.
Contiguous.
Yeah, and there's still like a lot of residential buildings there that you have a lot of triple deckers and double deckers that are probably gonna remain there for
But I
a
think-
while too.
That's fine, but I think we're talking when things get
New stuff.
replaced with like mixed use
Yeah.
commercial, or we have commercial on ground floor. We want to make sure that's visible and street front facing, not that 20% of the square footage, but it's tucked all the way in the back, and they're saying that they hit their
Yeah, you want it
commercial
exposed.
percentage.
So,
Yeah.
Jen is saying 85% of the linear frontage should be designated commercial space.
Yes, when that is,
A brand new building or something.
yeah, when it's a commercial use.
Commercial use for new construction?
Yes,
Both,
and
'cause you
renovation.
can modify one.
Yeah.
Go on.
Conversion or new
Yeah.
construction?
I think with renovation, maybe you could go down like 50% or something, like, because existing conditions can be difficult structurally or something like that, but I think, or at least the spirit of the
Can
intent.
we specify minimum square footage or depth of the actual unit? So,
That's
So
hard.
I think that'd be hard. I think just
Okay.
around about 20% minimum of
I
the
think you
entire
have to make
building,
sure you
of the
include
entire.
frontage.
Huh?
You have to include frontage.
Yeah, but 20% of the building, but then the balance of it, of that 20% has to go within the, what percentage you were put? 85%. So of that 20%, 85% of it has to be in the front there, as a visible.
I would add to that though, a minimum of 1,000 square feet or 20%. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way,
whichever
If
is,
there's a smaller building,
yeah.
great, but we still want commercial.
Yeah, good point, yeah.
So maybe it's not 1,000, maybe it's 750, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, because we had come through that's 500 square feet and that doesn't get us anything. And then they added a second floor. It's, well,
Mhm.
no one's using that.
Can we also, I don't know if we're allowed to do this, but can we at least list things that are prohibited or not to be considered commercial uses, like rental offices for apartment buildings?
No, we'll just have to.
No, it falls under our
Okay.
definition.
No.
Commercial use falls
So-
under the definition.
I know, I'm just saying, can we have a footnote somewhere? Say leasing offices
No.
specifically.
They've,
So-
we've already been told that they can't have leasing offices.
So 750 square feet minimum or 20%?
Whichever is
Greater?
Yes.
Because the idea.
So it's
like,
20% or 750?
Square feet or 20%, whichever is greater.
On the first floor.
First floor.
Yeah, first
Yeah,
floor.
this is
sorry.
all
Yeah, yeah,
first
First
floor.
floor, first floor.
I know, I'm just like.
First floor frontage.
And the idea is to rejuvenate the area, so this is one of the ways of doing it with small business going in there. It's not all just residential.
When you say 750 square feet or 20%, whichever is greater of commercial, we didn't specify anywhere in the building in which it has to be in the frontage, though.
Oh, yeah, no,
You
first
said
floor.
first
you're right.
floor.
Yeah, yeah,
First floor,
First floor
frontage.
frontage.
yeah. First floor
Podium
frontage.
style building.
Sorry, we're not
No.
helping you, sorry.
If you do a podium style building, it's the first level,
So,
units above, commercial business down below.
just to clarify, 750 square feet or 20% of the first floor frontage
No,
must be commercial.
20% of the building area.
20% of the building.
A minimum
area.
of 750 square feet. 85% of the frontage of the building has to be commercial.
Gotcha.
On the
That
first
was
floor.
missing.
On the first floor.
Yep,
Okay, that's-
Visible.
I think,
Thank you.
that's what we're aiming
Visible,
for.
yeah,
Yes.
visible,
Big windows.
Yeah.
Yes.
yes.
Visible space.
Okay, I think we're good now.
Okay.
Someone can make it sound much more eloquent, but we are capturing the spirit of the intent.
Maybe you're good at that. Make it
Democracy in action.
Okay. Everybody happy?
Yes.
So we make a motion.
Public hearing, you just.
Yeah, anybody out there?
No, it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot we actually had.
I thought she was just sitting in front of
She's taking notes.
Yeah, I'm here.
it.
Come on, I've been sitting here.
Please,
We
for
stay
the
here all
record.
night.
Melanie Hamlet, 70 Daniel Street, Town Council Chair of the EDC. Thank you for going over these uses. I love allowing more uses by right. That's like I watched the last meeting. Vice Chair Whirling's suggestion for the brewery to be by right is spot on. I think I like the idea of making sure that commercial's in the front, of course, right? A certain percentage of the mixed use should be. I have a couple of questions. If we remove the light industrial uses, which some of the things are there already, right? There's Franklin Lighting, that kind of stuff is there. It's actually in the definition, so you need to recommend, I think you should recommend editing that, but, so you said animal grooming was a no, or by special permit, but there's animal kennel, which is a no, animal daycare is a no. So, I don't know, just the grooming is what was there. So that was one of the things you guys mentioned. Did you get that written down, Amy? To Amy?
Yeah, for special permit.
For a special permit?
That's a kennel, that's an overnight.
I like the idea of your indoor commercial amusement stuff and the pinball arcade. It's like fantastic. So, thank you. And we'll continue this, we'll keep going. So, thanks.
Thank you, Melanie.
Chairman make a recommendation to close the public hearing.
Second. Whoop.
Oh, we have the commercial, do we have the commercial?
What?
Was that it for tonight? Those- Yeah,
That's it.
okay, yeah, just across here.
So make a motion to close the public hearing
Second.
for zoning bylaw amendments listed on the memo from DPCD.
Yeah.
Amendments
25.
25-929 through 25-934.
Yes, and then make a motion to recommend approval of zoning bylaw amendments 25-929 through 25-934 with the recommendations discussed in our public hearing.
To town council.
To town council, sorry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did we actually close the hearing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Any other, anything else? Amy?
I don't know if anybody watched last town council meeting, but they did announce my new supervisor and the director of planning and community development. She will be starting a week from today.
Who is?
Her name is Marina Zalea.
She's just said Marina to me.
Okay, Zelaya, coming from the city of Somerville. Most of her specialty is in housing. She does live in Franklin. She moved here a few years ago. And we'll find out more when she begins.
Nice.
Great.
If she's starting next week, will she have an opportunity to jump on the next planning board meeting
I can
via
ask her.
Zoom or something?
Yep, I can
just to
ask
say
her.
hi?
Mhm.
Great, be nice to meet her.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?